Hello, how are we doing? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope we're all having a fantastic day today. This is back-to-back cookie drama. I swear my account does more than just talking about cakes, but yesterday's video was in fact a cake-related video. It was actually uncovering an affair, a cake video. Now today's video is about cookies. There's some viral drama that went down. There was like a miscommunication that happened, and you have this cookie company called Smacked Goods who's up here. He was accusing this food influencer of scamming them for a free box of cookies.
At the time of this recording, there is yet to be any form of content related to my business or cookies posted on their social media.
Okay, it all went down, and it has led to a lot of discussion on who exactly is in the right here.
That man did something so nasty and evil, covered it up with chocolate chips and sea salt, and you're all eating it up.
I have my own thoughts. I'm sure you'll have your own thoughts as well towards the end of this, but we're just gonna dive right in, because if there's two things that I love, it is cake and drama. Cookies are falling into this bracket. If you also enjoy cake related drama, I've got a whole playlist dedicated to this, so if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out.
Situation completely backfired and turned me into the cookie monster is crazy, because I'm not here to scam anybody. Y'all really think I need a box of free burnt butter cookies? Are y'all crazy? Absolutely not.
So basically, there are two people that we're discussing. One called Pappy Pat has a cookie company called Smacked Goods. We also have someone who goes under the name of Felix, and Felix is the food reviewer, the owner and the creator of Smacked Goods. I'm just gonna call him like Cookie Guy, right? The Cookie Guy comes on and he immediately says that he has been scammed by an influencer. He reached out last month because he wanted to exchange content for free cookies. Now, we all know that food influencers run the streets in terms of DMing a lot of these bakers or cafe restaurant owners. They run the streets. Sometimes they run them ragged, and they end up in situations where they are literally just trying to get free food, and they don't really care about promoting the business. Sometimes they don't even remember to promote the business. Right, we've seen it happen again and again and again. So Cookie Guy was very skeptical of this.
Got completely scammed by this food influencer. I had this food influencer reach out to me on TikTok last month proposing that they would make content about my business in exchange for some baked goods. The person in question has 53,000 followers on TikTok alone, so I thought to myself, what's the worst that can happen? This is the first message I received from the person, and initially I was apprehensive. I didn't see the point in tapping into a whole different audience that I wasn't familiar with. Two, because I mainly have restaurant management experience and I've run social media pages for these businesses, but I consulted with a couple people on the idea and they said I should prioritize it.
So Cookie Guy was extremely skeptical of this. He made this a point. He said, you know, what is the worst that can happen? One thing I did notice about this, right, is that he says that he asked Felix for permission to film him get the cookies, right? And he wanted to do it without an audio. He didn't want to keep the voice in because it would be too obvious who it was.
I asked if it was okay if I record the whole thing, so you best believe I'm including it. But for the sake of not putting the person out entirely, I've decided not to include the audio because their voice might be a dead giveaway.
I am somewhat a little bit confused by this whole interaction, especially as if you slow it down, like over here, you can actually see Felix's name written on the box anyway. And if you followed Felix, you would know that those were his tattoos. You know, it's obvious who you're talking about. If he's doing a collab, then why would he want to keep them hidden? That doesn't make a lot of sense. The only reasoning I can think of is if for situations like this, you know, you're wanting to gain evidence of the fact that they did actually do the transaction or whatever, but then in which case, why are you then wanting to hide the audio?
But I'm not even mad about it for real. It's just the principle. If you were hungry and wanted a free sweet treat, you could have just asked. I'm an anti-problematic person, so I don't want to steer any ill will towards this person, but I'm only sharing this to say, this is why I don't work with any food influencers.
And yes, and he ends it by saying, if you were hungry, you should have just reached out and said that you wanted a free box of cookies. So this led a lot of people getting extremely annoyed. Extremely annoyed. And they were all over Felix's thing saying, hey, come on now, why are you stealing a box of cookies, right? We do not need this. And Felix comes out with this video in defense of himself.
Let's try. Oh, you thought this was a cookie review? I'm not posting that review. Let's get into the real receipts of what happened, because I'm obviously getting ripped apart. That video is going so viral. I'm not giving this person any clout. I'm not mentioning their name. And to make it very clear, this is not an apology video either. So if you're looking for that, you can head right on out.
The video, to note though, I'm going to be breaking down a lot of the screenshots. People were really up in arms towards Felix because they were just a little bit like, you know, why are you trying to steal cookies? So he comes out with the screenshots, and once again, like both of them have said, okay, like Felix and Cookie Guy, both of them have said that Felix was the one who reached out.
I DM'd him, letting him know that his cookies look delicious. I saw them on Facebook Marketplace. I would love to do a video to promote his business in exchange for a box of cookies. If he said no and he wanted me to pay for them, I would have gladly done that as well.
No, Felix does right. Yes, your brown buttered chocolate chip look divine, just how I like them, chocolate, salty and gooey. Now, it is funny because I can't remember if it was in the first video or the second video. He does go on and say that the cookies were burnt, and that he insinuating that he didn't like the cookies. Now, obviously, I know in this he's saying they look divine, not that they taste divine. But when he actually received the cookies, he came on video and said that those cookies were burnt. He didn't like them.
Y'all really think I need a box of free burnt butter cookies? Are y'all crazy? Absolutely not.
Whether or not that is true, or whether or not he was just upset that the Cookie Guy had made the video of him, I don't know. So as they're trying to set up a date, Felix reaches out and says, will you be able to meet halfway? Because I believe they live, I don't know if it's exactly the same area, but I think they live within the same city. And Cookie Guy says, we can set up a date for you to come by. I've been just really busy with orders. Felix then goes on to say that essentially the distance or the time period between him first reaching out to him receiving the box of cookies in his hands was 3 weeks. Apparently they just, you know, kept on saying, oh, couple more days, not Thursday, not a couple more days, and just the date kept on being pushed back, and this irritated Felix.
He's been really busy. I congratulated him. I said, that's awesome. I can imagine. That's so nice to hear. 13 days later, that's nearly 2 weeks later, he messages me, hey, Felix, is Monday a good day? I said, hey, yeah, sounds great. 2 days later, I reach out, hey, haven't heard anything, haven't gotten a response. Then follows up the next day with, I'm so sorry, I ended up being so busy yesterday. Let's shoot for Thursday. Here I go, giving grace. The business owner, I have a small business. I know what it takes, and I know the work that goes in, even as being a content creator. It's not easy. Let's make it make sense here.
So finally, on the 28th, Felix gets a message saying, so I have a baker's dozen of chocolate chip available for pickup. If you'd like to swing by, I'm unable to drive out your way because I'm prepping for this weekend. There was a bit of pushback when Felix was like, actually, is there any way I can do tomorrow instead of today? It's not great. And Cookie Guy was like, no, it's got to be today. He's too busy tomorrow. He'd rather get them to him fresh.
Then he says he'll be too busy tomorrow. He'd rather me have them fresh, or the next best day would be Monday, but he'd have to get back to me. So I then proceeded to make the decision as a content creator. You know what? Let me get these cookies fresh. Let me make this video really nice. I got him. I told him that I had to charge my car because my car had no battery, and he was about 35 to 45 minutes away. He then asked me for my Instagram. He said he was boxing them up. I told him that I was getting off of the exit. I was close. I gave him my Instagram, and I told him my main following is here on TikTok. I have a very small following on Instagram. I still feel like I'm a very small creator, which is why it's very frustrating for this situation to have been so blown out of proportion for a small creator like me. Technically, I have a small business that's equivalent to his small business. Some of you guys look at me like I'm this massive creator. Yeah, I have a couple of viral videos, but that doesn't mean that I'm just out here balling.
My thing is with this is, why are we only now just asking for the instas? Why are we now just asking for them? Like, surely that should already have been something that we had been doing.
Like, Is it okay if I record? Just me handing it over to you. This is where it seems sketchy and it seems like he was plotting, because why do you just want a video handing it over to me? And if you were just gonna have a cute video handing them to me, wouldn't you want my face in the video? No, he took a video from here down.
Now, I am not a baker. I say this all the time. I suck at baking. Love cooking, suck at baking. But I'm invested in the drama, okay? Now, I can never, even if it's a box-made cookie, I still always get it wrong. Always get it wrong. But there's one thing I know about baking is that there is a science to it. And this is the reasoning why I was never good at baking, good at cooking, because I like experimenting. I like adding a bit of this, bit of that, to it taste the way that I want. Baking, nah, there's no room for leaving it too long, putting in one extra thing, measurement slightly wrong, because it will not turn out the way that it did. So if he's been busy with all of these orders and he's like, hey, yeah, no, it's literally got to be today if you want this, then you're going to have to try and make it work, because cookies are not waiting for anyone. Like if he's got spare and they're ready to go, they're ready to go. Now, I don't know how many orders the cookie guy gets, but I'm assuming it's quite a lot, because you know, as well as him having a social media profile, that is his business. Do you know? Like, that is his job. He is there making these cookies. So I can understand why this would be lesser on the priority list, because he has, you know, paid obligations, like actual cash in hand obligations to do before giving away free stuff to influencers. And by the sounds of it, he didn't really seem like he was that fussed about this partnership to begin with.
Initially, I was apprehensive. One, because I didn't see the point in tapping into a whole different audience that I wasn't familiar with. But then again, what's the worst that can happen?
Felix does manage to get a video of him, and they're doing the switcheroony, right? They're switching over the goods. We have Cookie Guy getting that strange bit of filming that I can't really work out if it was meant to be public or private. I don't really know. And we have Felix actually getting a picture. I don't know why the face is blurred either, because that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because we already know who we're talking about. I don't know, this whole like trying to be secretive about who the other person is not making a hell of a lot of sense.
This is where it seems sketchy and it seems like he was plotting, because why do you just want a video handing it over to me? And if you were just gonna have a cute video handing them to me, wouldn't you want my face in the video? No, he took a video from here down. Like, he wanted proof that he gave me the cookies in case I did scam him, meaning he already had the thought from the initial contact that I was going to scam him. Here is a clip of the footage that I took with him. The date was May 28th.
So what he goes on to say is that he left. There was a substantial amount of time between him getting the cookies to the point where the cookie guy was like, right, well, I've obviously just been scammed.
I drove home. I filmed the video in my car so I could get the maximum freshness for people to see. And then on June 6th, so 8 days later, he decides to post a video saying that I scammed him. Like, you had to do all of this and blow this out of proportion. It was a right business move, because if you go look at his story, he's getting a whole bunch of orders. So your plan worked. And here I am trying to defend myself, and he's at home baking cookies, making coin. It's not fair. I'm having to take away time from my business to now sit here and tell my side of the story. And he's chilling. Hasn't responded to no comments, hasn't responded to my message. How is that fair? And y'all want me to pay him the $20 or post a review? That's crazy. I have morals and I have self-respect, and I refuse to let anybody disrespect me or lie on my name.
This is what people had to say, and it's mixed, right? It's not straight cut. It is a little bit mixed. One person says, I'm confused on why you think it's okay not to post the review. Someone said, 2 weeks to edit a cookie video is mad crazy though. I agree, especially if there's no contract put into place. So this is the issue in which we lie. There was no communication. The cookie guy just did not bother reaching out to Felix, just went straight, I've been scammed, didn't ask where the updates were. This is a very long time without any form of like, hey, it's going to be this week, hey, it's going to be that week. So I can understand feeling like you have been let down, but there was no communication.
I should have given the baker a time frame on when the video will come out, and I usually do that. I think our exchange was just so organic and casual, or at least I thought it was. Normally, I have a 7 to 14 day turnover. That is a week to 2 weeks, which in the content world, if you're a content creator, let me know down below if you're a content creator and you agree or disagree with this, but a week or two is a completely normal turnaround for a video.
So Felix sent a message saying, hey, so I apologize if I haven't communicated on a time frame on when your video would be up, but to make that video, making it seem as though I'm not working on your video, amongst other things I'm working on, is not fair to me either. You're tarnishing my name that I've worked very hard to build, just like you do with your business is crazy. And he doesn't get any response. The cookie guy still hasn't responded to this very day. But people were a little bit like, okay, but you did take 2 weeks. You did take 2 weeks, Felix. But then in Felix's defense, there was no timeline. There was no contract, there was no timeline, there was no, okay, so it's going to be ready here. There was absolutely nothing.
At the time of this recording, there is yet to be any form of content related to my business or cookies posted on their social media. But
This is the part where he misleads everyone, and this is where people are the most upset. And I understand because it's not clear. I didn't just ghost this guy. His video was undergoing editing, okay? I do UGC content. I had 20 plus videos to edit for brands. 8 days went by. He already had a date set in his head that he said, if this guy doesn't post by this day, I'm gonna rip him apart. And that's exactly what he did without giving me a deadline.
So you can't really be upset if things are not out on time when you didn't have a publishing date. So I do work with brands sometimes, and if I do, there are contracts put into place, there is a draft date where I send off the draft, they then approve it, and then there's a posting date, but you've got to get the video in on the draft date, and then generally they'll then agree on a posting date as long as everything has been amended. I think in this case it would have just been a, hey, when are we going to post? But it's just for clarity. It means that I know when the brand wants something, they know when to expect it, and no one can get all, legal and, hey, you didn't fulfill your end of the bargain because there was no timeline put in place for it. But some people did say, I definitely understand your side now. One, you should have definitely gave him a timeline as to when you would be posting. The cookie guy is 100% wrong for not reaching out to you for an update before making a video about you. I wouldn't want to post a review after he did that either, but I would give him his $20 for the cookies and not give him the review. Yeah, you could just not do the review and give them the money, or you could just put water underneath the bridge, have the cookie guy delete the video, and then repost a review. But you've already said that you thought the cookies were burnt, I think it was. So I don't know how we can't move on from this, because if he posts a positive review after this, then it's going to come across really disingenuous.
Ultimately, his attempt to end me and tarnish my reputation worked in his benefit, because now he's making all of these sales, and you guys are supporting something that came from an evil place.
Someone else said, post the video reviewing his cookies or pay him simple. And Felix responds, it's not that simple, love. There's hundreds of thousands of people who now think I'm a scammer. I'm just a small content creator who was in the process of editing the video, and without any communication from the baker, he decided to slam my name as if I didn't have the intention to post his video. Yeah, because up here he does actually show himself, he shows the video. I actually, when I first came across this, thought that maybe both of them are in on this like bit of drama, like people would either agree with Felix and follow him, or they would buy cookies from the cookie guy. But I don't think that is the case, because I feel like it's a really uneven queue. Like, I think more people are agreeing with the cookie guy than Felix. However, I will say that Felix then comes back on, right? And when he comes back on, he is, he's more apologetic, I think, because he's heard what the audience have had to say about him, and he's not very happy. with himself and the way that he reacted. I mean, fair enough, you know, if you have been called a scammer and all of this, and you had actually full intention of posting a video, that is going to upset your business, and that's going to make you react out of a place of hurt. I fully get that.
My response videos were a little more on the emotional side, because I think as a regular person and a regular human being who's never experienced something like this, it was my natural instinct to defend myself, tell my side of the story, as I rightfully should. However, it didn't make it right for me to have a certain tone or make certain remarks the way that I did. I also, again, take accountability for not letting this person know my turnaround time for videos. I think a lot of people are missing the fact that the video was in the editing process. I didn't just ghost this person, and I did not have ill intentions to take the cookies, eat them, and not make a video. I'm just a normal human being like everyone else. I think people have this misconception of me being this massive content creator who does this full time. No, that's not the case. So all this hate, all this bullying, all these threats were very overwhelming for me to deal with. I don't do content full time, or at least food content full time. I also do UGC content for brands, which requires a lot of filming and editing. I do DoorDash. I'm also working on relaunching a small business, and then regular life, you know?
If there was communication put in place, this never would have happened. But you learn as you go. So he actually sends another message to the cookie guy. Still, there was no response. Says, "Hello, Pat. I want to try my best to make the situation right. We obviously have both been under a lot of heat and pressure these past 2 days and were in our feels when making and posting content. I'm glad to see that the video you posted has worked out in your favour and you're making sales, which was our initial intention with this collab to begin with. I would love to have an open heart conversation with you. Despite everything that's going on, I think a conversation is what's needed for us to try and correct the situation. I also would like to compensate you for the cookies, since of right now I don't have plans to post a review unless we speak and things can go in a different direction. If you don't want one or the other, I understand. Best, Felix." Yeah, see, I will say this time again, but it was the fact that he's already alluded to the fact that he doesn't like the cookies, and I have this feeling in my mind that the review is probably quite good. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong. I haven't watched a lot of his reviews. But yeah, that would make the audience gang up on him even more and be like, yeah, well, you said you didn't like the cookies, and now all of a sudden you do. So I don't know.
I have yet to get a response, so I feel like I've done what I can in my power to try to make it right, and there's nothing else that I can do. I think this video is my last attempt of just making my final statement so that I can put it to rest, because I'm ready to move on from it.
This was all a giant miscommunication, but it is funny because which corner of the internet have we landed ourselves in drama again? That'll be Bake Talk. Bake Talk can't help but keep themselves in and out of drama, and I understand both sides. I really do. I am going to be stuck in the middle here. I do understand both sides. But once again, this literally just came down to miscommunication. And if the miscommunication had not have been there, then we wouldn't have been in the situation. I don't know. I literally don't know what else to add to the situation. I don't know. Cookies look great though. The cookies look fantastic. I'd love some cookies. But that is pretty much all I had to say. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. You take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.